Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhur Muhur. Namaste everyone and welcome to this new series on glimpses of holy lives. We have been discussing a lot of philosophy and Vedant. But one of the best ways to progress in spiritual life is just to follow the life of a saint, to be inspired by the bhav of a saint, to love a saint basically. And you will just move forward in spiritual life. Because the conquest which saints do, it is not through the sword or the pen, or it is not a conquest of the violent kind, but they conquer human hearts by their holiness, by their purity, by their immense love, by their godliness. You get a picture of God in a holy person. And that is why studying these great lives, especially those incidents in their lives which inspire us to the core, this is very important in spiritual life. So we have taken up this new series, Glimpses of Holy Lives, and in the first few videos we will be studying some of the life incidents of Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi. This particular personality, Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, was the very embodiment of universal motherhood, all motherly qualities and divinity being expressed through a human form. So this combination is so appealing to the human mind that today millions of people all over the world worship her as the divine mother of the universe, and we feel so close to her because she comes to us as the mother ideal. It is something which naturally invokes pure love in the human heart. It is something that everybody adores, everybody can relate with, and she was the very embodiment of this motherliness and extreme simplicity, and through all this great divinity. So she holds a great appeal. I have seen this all over the world actually, that maybe initially our perception was that people wanted Vedant or something of yoga, but ultimately we saw that it is devotion, and devotion to the mother is supreme everywhere. So we will be discussing this very holy life, and you will see just the discussion of a saint, and we look upon mother as the very expression of the divine. Just discussing this kind of a life, that itself is a very elevating, it's a sadhana in itself. So Holy Mother's life is right before us in this particular age and in these times where there is so much of confusion, so much of violence, conflict everywhere. This kind of a life which gives so much light, it is so refreshing to the human mind. It soothes and calms our heart. It ennobles our emotions and naturally directs our energies towards the divine. So let us go into some of the incidents. I will not be able to cover all of Mother's life, but some of the incidents which are very important, we will try to cover in this series. First of all, Mother came to us in very simple form. She was born in Jairambati, which was an out-of-the-way village in Bengal, in India. But today Jairambati is a huge pilgrimage center. Thousands of people go to Jairambati just to get this inspiration from Mother's life, and you find her living presence there. And actually, one of the American authors, she has described Mother as this really, we can't imagine that such a powerful saint, great saint would come out like this, in this form, in such a simple form, she says. Because, Mother was born to very humble parents, but who were very devout and full of spiritual virtues. So she was born to Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay and Shyama Sundari Devi way back in 1853 in the village of Jairambati. So when she was born, there was great rejoicing in the home. Their very descent of these saints, it is divine. So her mother had a kind of divine intuition that the girl born to her is actually a goddess come in this form. The father also had some kind of a intuition about this. And so when Sharda was born, the whole family really looked upon her as a divine child. And her parents were very simple people. The father used to go and work in his fields, and being a devout Brahmin, he was used to worshipping, rituals, all this. So right from childhood, Sharda saw, and what she was also taught by her parents, the life of austerity and contentment, but the life of love and service, devotion to God. She grew up like that. So you can visualize little Sharda doing all these little things like husking paddy, helping her mother cook. Even from a young age, Sharda got initiated into all this. She would carry puffed rice to the fields where her father would be working. And she would make sure that everybody had their food well. She would sit and fan the food when it would be hot to cool it down so that people could relish it. And then she would go to the ponds, which are so common in Bengal, and there she would wade into neck-deep water and cut grass for the cows. So you can visualize Sharda doing all this little girl. And she in fact even learned swimming in one of those ponds by upturning a pot which acted like a float. So she grew up in the midst of nature, and children who grow up like this, they become very sensitive and very, very caring in many ways. So you will find all of this in mother's life. Throughout her life, mother was so sensitive, quiet, intelligent, and caring. She had grown up amidst nature. I always I tell my students often that, you see, IQ is not the only index of intelligence. There is also EQ and SQ. The intelligence quotient, the emotional quotient, and the spiritual quotient. All of these are included in your intelligence. So, the development of EQ and SQ, for that, this kind of an ambience is very much required. And when you live and grow amidst nature, you naturally become sensitive to a whole lot of things. Mother, throughout her life, she demonstrated a contentment and kindness which are very rare. She demonstrated a sense of purity and love, which are also very rare. So all this naturally came to her in childhood because of various influences. Of course, she was a goddess, not that she was influenced by something and she manifested these qualities, but she grew up in an ambience which promoted these values, which brought out the divinity within her. So that is how we picture Sharda's early life. And then there is one beautiful incident connected with her very early life when she was just 11 years old. There was famine in Jairambati, and that was a terrible famine where a lot of people went hungry. So Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay, who was the father of Shardamani, he opened up food for cooking for everyone and offering food to everyone, because he had a huge bin with stock stored from the previous year. He converted that into khichdi, a kind of lentil and rice mixture, and cooked it and served it to everyone who from the village who was suffering the pangs of hunger. And little Sharda, who was only 11 years old, saw all this, and she would come forth, and when the khichdi was poured into leaf plates to be offered to the villagers, she would fan that food and cool it down so that they could have their fill. And they were so hungry. They came in great numbers, and everyone came and had food at Ramchandra Mukhopadhyay's place. So throughout, because mother had seen this scene, throughout her life, she loved feeding people. She herself would cook with her own hands and feed people, and the contentment she got by that. She exuded all these virtues from a very young age. See, today we have a lot to learn from this. In terms of education, we think it is mainly an education that is geared towards a good job, an education that develops our IQ or the amount of information we get within ourselves. But quickly you will realize uh, whether we get the job of our dreams or not, you will realize that there is education is a lifelong experience. There is so much to learn, and education never stops when we stop going to college. So the essential education is that which brings me peace from within, that which elevates my energies towards a high ideal. And of course, gathering information, and now today you have all the means to do that very effectively, isn't it? There is always Google to give you whatever information you want. So the essential thing is the training of this body-mind complex towards a high ideal. This is a very essential part of education. In earlier times, see, the culture of India and the ambience provided by the homes which were sensitive to these ideals, they brought in this culture naturally, these qualities naturally into the children. Today we will have to understand this and apply it with effort, that for the complete development of the individual, the emotional development, the spiritual development, all of this will be required. Proper exposures, good ambience, a kind of holiness in the life, a kind of sanctity about the human life. All of this is required to elevate your energies and to manifest the complete human being. So, this lesson I think we get from mother's life, that it is in childhood that we have to lay these sanskars for a great life to blossom. And I think that is how you will find at every stage in mother's life, there are so many things we can learn. It's a very simple life, so anyone can relate to it. But the lessons it teaches us are enormous. So let us slowly follow mother's life, few incidents in mother's life, and see what we can learn from them in this series. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.